doing? How we doing? This is Destination Denver, Colorado, and it's almost daily that I am asked, should I look at moving to Denver or Colorado Springs? Well, I am here to give you the full comparison of each so you can make the right decision, and we are starting right now. This is Destination Denver, Colorado. I'm your host, Jimmy Everett. And listen, if you're interested in learning all the ins and outs, pros and cons to moving to the Denver metro area or Colorado Front Range, this is the channel for you. So make sure you click on that subscribe button as I'm dropping new videos for you each and every week. And as much as I try to be informative here on camera, I'm also a licensed mortgage broker covering the entire state of Colorado and team with some of the state's most talented realtors. And we are helping people move here each and every day. So the number and email you see on your screen, know that I am always the person to answer your phone calls, answer your texts, answer your emails. There, winning if you need me. Now that we're done with that fun-filled stuff, let's get to what we're here for, and that is Denver versus Colorado Springs, a complete comparison for potential movers. So it's certainly not uncommon for people who are looking at Colorado and who want to live in a city to look at Denver and look at Colorado Springs. After all, we're looking at the two most populated cities in all of Colorado, and we're not a state that has a lot of big cities. I always think about a state like Pennsylvania with Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, or even in Ohio with Cleveland and Cincinnati and Columbus. For Colorado, you have Denver, by far the largest city in the state with a population of 715,000. If you include the metropolitan area, that grows to 3.2 million. And Denver's metropolitan area includes Aurora, right on its eastern border, and Aurora is the third largest city in the state. Go down to Colorado Springs, where your population shrinks down to 495,000, and you have a metropolitan area population of 800,000. So you're really talking about Denver, and then you're talking about a decent sized town city of Colorado Springs. Now, growth rates are pretty interesting between these two because in the 2010s, Denver was on a spring. I mean, growth was incredible, almost to a point where it was unhealthy. And if you talk to locals here, they'll probably reaffirm that thought. But recently that growth has slowed. We're at about 0.5% annual growth for the metropolitan area, whereas Colorado Springs, their growth is closer to 1.5%. It's still a more affordable community. There's still room for a lot of new build construction there. So that growth slightly higher than Denver's as of the making of this video. And the two cities are pretty comparable as far as your median age. Denver sits at 34 years. Colorado Springs sits at 35. Again, median age for what it's worth, but very similar population ages. Now, certainly one of the first key components to comparing the two cities is going to be cost of living, and Colorado Springs is going to have a higher level of affordability. They're roughly 6 to 8, we'll call it up to 10% cheaper than Denver as a whole. When it comes to median home prices, as of the end of last year, so as of the end of 2024 going into 2025, the median home price in Denver sat at $600,000. That includes all types of homes, including condos, single-family homes, townhomes, etc. Down in Colorado Springs, it was closer to $450,000. So again, you saw a lot more affordability in Colorado Springs, one of the reasons that a lot of eyes were drawn to that city in the first place. Rents. An average two-bedroom apartment in Denver ran around $2,200. You could get a similar unit down in Colorado Springs for $1,800 a month. And when it came to property taxes for owners, very similar. Most properties in the Denver County and Colorado Springs area run at about 0.5% to 0.6% as far as their property taxes. So both communities pretty similar. And as far as items like utilities, items as far as sales tax, they're going to be very similar. So your overall cost on those two items, utilities and sales tax, very much on the same level. And for what it's worth, as of the making of this video, gas per gallon was 10 cents to 15 cents higher in Denver than in Colorado Springs. So if that, I don't know, $2, $3 a fill up is going to change your mind, I'd come to Denver, I'm closer. Now, after cost of living, we get into really the meat and potatoes, and that is economy, schools, neighborhoods. As far as economy, I mean, let's be real. So as far as economy, let's be real. Denver is going to have more major industries. There's going to be certain opportunities in Denver that don't exist in Colorado Springs. Again, you're talking about a population that is, let's do some math real quick, 4 times the size of Colorado Springs. So key industries here in Denver, you have tech, including Google, Amazon, Palantir, Slack. You've got finance and banking companies, including Charles Schwab and Wells Fargo. You've got aerospace and defense, including Lockheed and Ball, both located within the metropolitan area. And Xcel Energy, located in Denver, one of the largest energy companies in the country. The unemployment rate as of the making of this video sat at 3.2% in Denver. The median income for a family sat at $85,000. And the job market overall, you have these high-paying financial and tech sector jobs, but also a very competitive job market. Now, Colorado Springs is certainly going to have some comparisons, but a lot of their industry is going to revolve around the Department of Defense. So you're going to have aerospace and defense, including the U.S. Air Force Academy, Space Force, and Northrop Grumman, tourism and hospitality, a big feature down at Colorado Springs, Pikes Peak, the tallest mountain in the Colorado Front Range, as well as Garden of the Gods, an amazing hiking trail there. So hospitality and tourism going to be a big factor for the Colorado Springs community. Healthcare, a big deal as well. UC Health, as well as Penrose St. Francis. So again, some of those industry overlaps, and not to say that there aren't other industries, but certainly you're going to see more options in Denver because of its size and scale. Unemployment rate in Colorado Springs, slightly higher, 3.5% as of the making of this video. Median yearly income for a family sitting at $75,000. And what you tend to see as a summary is that the economy is growing, there's more jobs available, a lot of them in defense, but there are fewer high-paying corporate jobs if that's what you're looking for. So if you want to kind of look at overall, like, what is better? Well, if you are looking at tech, finance, and corporate jobs, Denver's going to win. If you're looking at military, aerospace, tourism, Colorado Springs is going to have the advantage. And if you're a remote worker, if you're looking for that remote work lifestyle, Colorado Springs might have the edge there because, again, you have a lot of amenities, plus you have a lower cost of living. Certainly a key component of comparing Denver to Colorado Springs is going to be education and schools. And this one is tricky, again, because we're talking about such a large landscape. When you look within Denver, you're going to see varying educational ratings, and I always encourage you to look at greatschools.org, niche.com. There's a lot of resources as far as looking at individual schools. Among the more popular school districts that you're going to hear about in Denver, Cherry Creek School District, commonly talked about, Littleton Public Schools, and Douglas County School District are, again, among the ones that are spoken highly of and highly rated, but again, always going to do your due diligence there. Denver County Schools itself is the largest school district. They have over 90,000 students there, but again, because of its size, you're going to have various ratings and various performance ratings, I should say. Charter and private schools, yes, statistically, Denver is going to have more. Again, obviously you have 4 times the population, but plenty of options within both communities as far as charter and private schools. Some of Colorado Springs' highest rated school districts are going to include Academy District 20, which is the highest rated public school district in Colorado Springs. It covers Briargate and Northgate. You have the Cheyenne Mountain District 12. They have high test scores, and State College Prep has been pretty highly rated. And then you've got Lewis Palmer District 38, which serves Monument, and they're, again, known for their excellent academics. Higher education up in Denver, you're going to have the University of Denver, one of the most prestigious universities in the country. You've got the University of Colorado in Denver, and then you've got Metropolitan State or Metro. Down in Colorado Springs, obviously you have the Air Force Academy, one of the most prestigious military academies. Second best. I kid. I was not a Naval Academy grad, so I can't even talk. And then you've got the University of Colorado Springs Department, as well as Pikes Peak State College there in Colorado Springs. So regardless of where you live, if you have college-age kids or coming on college-age kids, they have the ability to move away if they want, but if you're trying to keep them close, you'll have options. As far as better education, at least as far as ratings go, when it came to public schools, Colorado Springs held the edge. When it came to best private and charter schools, Denver had the edge, but that was primarily because there were more options, just being fair. And then as far as best university access, Denver, again, just from an overall rating, had the edge because of that access to the University of Denver, CU, etc. That is unless you get into the Air Force Academy, right? You can't really compare with something like that. That's top notch. As far as best neighborhoods, and this one is tricky, and I'm going to admit to you up front that as much as I love flying my drone, and I have tried to cover as much of this state as possible, I have the Denver neighborhoods video. I don't have all of these Colorado Springs neighborhoods covered. We're going to do better this summer getting that. That's my fault. But talking about some of these great neighborhoods. So for Denver, some of your like just high tier desired neighborhoods are going to include Washington Park, Wash Park, as we call it here, the locals. Although I have heard some locals randomly get mad when you don't call it Washington Park. That's a high-end, very walkable, near downtown area. One of the most enjoyable parks in all of Denver. You're gonna have Capitol Hill, which is really close to downtown. It's in the heart of downtown. Cap Hill is going to be great for young professionals and people who just want a lot of walkability. Again, you're right in the heart of the city. You've got the Highlands, by far my favorite neighborhood in all of Denver. I think it blends the perfect mix of urban and suburban. You've got all types of housing. You have multiple different neighborhoods tucked within the Highlands, which is kind of two neighborhoods. You have the Lower Highlands and Highlands, but you've got multiple neighborhoods within there where you can walk around to different shops and stores and everything. Just a great neighborhood overall. Getting a little more suburby, you have Cherry Creek, which is, I think, by far the most walkable neighborhood in all of Denver. Tons of shopping, restaurants, and kind of a quiet atmosphere. Really tough to find parking because there's a lot going on in each day. There's a lot of businesses in that area, but just overall a great neighborhood. Price points are going to be pretty steep in Cherry Creek, so something to keep in mind there. And then last one I would mention is the Central Park area. It used to be called Stapleton, so you might see that in some areas, but Central Park, a lot of newer developments there, neighborhoods to consider. Again, that's mainly thinking Denver. If we start talking about the suburbs of Denver, we're gonna get lost. There's gonna be a ton of those. But as far as neighborhoods of Denver, just giving you a handful to get started with. And there's more of them, and I assure you I've covered them in other videos and will continue to cover them in the future. As far as Colorado Springs, and admittedly I can't go quite as far into depth in some of these neighborhoods, although I have some realtors who will definitely be able to answer more in-depth questions for you. But as far as my personal favorites, one thing you're gonna see in Colorado Springs again is more affordability, and you're going to tend to see more of a military presence. With being a Navy veteran, hopefully you do as well. So first up, you have Briargate. A lot of new homes there, really good schools. Overall, you're going to do your due diligence as far as that, but highly regarded for that. And pretty suburban in general. Next up, you have Northgate. That's closer to the Air Force Academy, kind of luxury homes in that neighborhood. Then you have Broadmoor. So the Broadmoor Hotel, kind of one of these, just magical historical hotels. Historical, I don't even know if I said that right the first time, down in Colorado Springs. So the Broadmoor neighborhood, a lot of historic homes there. You're close to the hotel, an amazing golf course nearby. So one of those neighborhoods that's going to be extremely popular. And then a couple, Flying Horse, I hear a lot about and have had some people move to recently. Newer construction area with a new golf course. Pretty popular again because of how new it is. And then you have Powers Corridor, which is again kind of a newer development, a lot of new construction there. And a lot of the positive feedback there is from an affordability standpoint. They like that it's growing, they like that it's affordable, so another one of those communities you might want to explore. And again, we can certainly have an in-depth conversation about neighborhoods, suburbs, sections of these towns that might work best for you. I just wanted to kind of give you some placeholders to start at. Certainly not suggesting that those are the ones you should choose from. There's a lot of options, and we'd be here for another hour if we covered all of them. Now again, we go back to which is better. And when I talk to a lot of people, I think that when we're talking about if the key is families and affordability, Colorado Springs is probably going to have the edge overall. If we're really talking the heart of Denver compared to the heart of Colorado Springs, you're talking families and affordability, edge to Colorado Springs. If you're talking nightlife, walkability, a lot of different cultures, Denver is going to be your clear winner there. And then if you're talking luxury or historic neighborhoods, both are going to have options, but because of Denver's size, there's going to be, again, more options in the Denver metro area. Rolling right along, let's talk about things to do and reasons to get outside. And we're going to start with Colorado Springs because we keep leading with Denver. So in Colorado Springs, you've got Garden of the Gods, one of my absolute favorite hikes. Again, you've got Pikes Peak. You've got the Red Rock Canyon open space. You've got the Manitou Incline. So the incline is just this long set of stairs going up, and it doesn't sound like much, but it's got great views, and it's one of the best workouts. People love going down to the Manitou Incline, running up those stairs, and then you can run down a trail where you can come back down the stairs. And then the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, which is an underrated, it's one of the best zoos in the country. Underrated is the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo. Denver, again, I mean, it's kind of cheating because you've got the metro area to consider, but you've got Red Rocks Amphitheater, the best amphitheater in the entire world, in my humble opinion. You've got like the Cherry Creek Trail. And again, I'm kind of giving you some randoms because if we were just talking about like the things that people are going to do day to day, the Cherry Creek Trail is incredible. Sloan's Lake, I already mentioned Wash Park earlier. Wash Park is an amazing park to go hang out. Sloan's Lake, same thing, just a great park with the lake. You got downtown right there, great place to just spend a day out with your friends. And both are going to have quick access to the mountains. So, I mean, I think when you're talking about whether you're going to live in Denver or Colorado Springs, if getting to the mountains, if skiing is your thing, you're going to be able to get into the mountains pretty quick from either. If sports and entertainment is your thing, again, I mean, I think that's where you start to see a pretty big divide. Denver has every major sport you can think of: football, baseball, hockey, basketball, soccer, lacrosse. They got a bit of everything. The Colorado Rockies, the greatest minor league team to play Major League Baseball. I have to make that joke every year because I feel bad for them that they stink so bad. You've got, you know, a ton of concert halls. We already mentioned Red Rocks. You've got shows down at Ball Arena. You've got Fiddler's Green, and you have so many different music venues in Denver. There's just a lot to do there from the music scene. And again, obviously, the size of the city, you're going to have a lot more restaurants, a lot more nightlife, a lot more things to do if you're talking about, you know, sports, concerts, and entertainment. So as far as Colorado Springs, I mean, if sports is really like a make or break for you, you're probably not going to move to Colorado Springs, or you're just going to accept the fact that you need to drive an hour and a half or so to come up for a sporting event. It's not that big a deal for you. But the Olympics, certainly there's the Olympic Training Center down in Colorado Springs, so a big deal there. They do have a local minor league baseball team, so you can get out in the summer and still enjoy a cold beer, you know, take the kids out, whatever you want to do there. And there's, you know, some decent restaurants. Again, maybe not as many selections, but there's places to eat, there's things to do at night. Are you moving to Colorado Springs for being a party town? Probably not, but I'd also imagine, I'm an old man now, I'm darn near 47, I don't remember what that life was like, but I'm sure 25-year-old me could find things to do in Colorado Springs. There's a reason there's a military base down there. I assure you those kids are not going to bed at 8 o'clock at night. If transportation is important to you, Denver is going to have more options overall. I mean, light rail system, a lot more busing, Ubers, things of that nature. And not that Colorado Springs doesn't, but you're not going to have a light rail down there. Public transportation is probably going to be a slightly more limited down in Colorado Springs, depending on if the light rail matters to you. Some people use it, and some people have never ridden it in their entire lives. As far as your day-to-day commute, when we looked at it statistically, it said the average daily commute in Denver was roughly 20 to 30 minutes. It was 15 to 20 minutes in Colorado Springs. Again, that really, it's going to depend on you and where you live and where your job is, and if you are remote, but just kind of taking that into consideration. And your rush hours are going to be similar. Colorado Springs doesn't seem to have as much traffic kind of in your off roads, as much as, you know, Denver has 3.2 million people moving around, so their off streets, not just their highways, can get pretty congested. You don't see that as much. Most of it is I-25 traffic in Colorado Springs. And then as far as airports, there is an airport down in Colorado Springs. I know a lot of people who will fly directly out of Colorado Springs, or they'll fly from Colorado Springs up to Denver, catch their flight, and go. Prices do not seem to be that crazy for flying out of Colorado Springs. And then I know plenty of people who, especially if they're not traveling often, will just drive from Colorado Springs up to Denver to get to the airport. But either way, there is an airport in both cities. So overall, you have two really great communities to compare. And again, there's something to be said for the fact that Denver's kind of cheating because it has all of this metropolitan area. But if, lifestyle and affordability and some of these different things are important to you, I certainly think Colorado Springs is worth exploring. And I also think that has to do a lot with where people are coming from. If they are coming from this big, massive city, Colorado Springs might be a shock. If they're not, I think it's a place that a lot of people want to explore, and happy to have a more in-depth conversation with you about it. My number and email on the screen. Know that I'm always there to answer those phone calls, answer those texts, and answer those emails. This is Destination Denver, Colorado. I'm your host, Jimmy Everett. That was Denver versus Colorado Springs, a complete comparison for potential movers. Until I see you next time, peace.